The sun was barely peeking over the horizon when she first arrived at the cattle farm, a place that smelled of hay, dust, and the kind of sweat that clings to your clothes after a long day in the fields. Emma had been warned that her new assignment wouldn't be easy. After all, this wasn't just any horse. This was a prize-winning mare, a champion of countless shows, whose elegance and strength had been celebrated in arenas packed with cheering crowds. Yet somehow, she had ended up here, in a place that wasn't fit for someone of her caliber. As the truck doors creaked open, a ripple of unease spread through the mare. Her coat, a rich chestnut streaked with sun-kissed highlights, shimmered in the morning light, but her eyes, dark, intelligent, and wary, revealed a different story. There was a fire in her gaze, a stubborn streak that had earned her trophies but might also prove dangerous if underestimated. Emma's heart tightened. She had worked with horses all her life, but she knew instinctively that this one was special. And complicated. The farm was loud with the chatter of cattle, the lowing of impatient steers, and the occasional clatter of the metal gate as a cow bumped it with a massive head. The mare stamped her hooves nervously, ears flicking, nostrils flaring. Emma's mind raced. How do you introduce a show horse, trained for grace and precision, into a world of unpredictable chaos? She took a deep breath and stepped closer, her voice soft but firm, trying to bridge the invisible gap of fear between human and horse. "You're safe," she whispered, reaching out a hand. The mare jerked back, muscles coiled like a spring. Emma didn't flinch. Patience, she reminded herself. Trust isn't given, it's earned. For hours, she observed. The mare refused to eat, refused to approach, refused to even glance at Emma directly. She paced the fence line, tail swishing, eyes constantly scanning for threats, though the only real threat was the unfamiliar world she had been thrust into. Emma felt a pang of empathy. She remembered the days after her father passed, the way she had been thrown into responsibilities she hadn't asked for, expected to perform while grappling with fear and grief. She recognized that same turmoil in the mare. By late afternoon, the mare had begun to relax slightly, enough to let Emma slip a halter over her head. But the mare's resistance was subtle yet deliberate. Small shifts of weight, tense muscles, a sideways glance meant to unnerve. Emma's hand stayed steady. She had learned long ago that horses respond not to force but to calm authority. And yet, there was something deeper here, a story locked inside this mare's gaze, a silent plea that Emma couldn't yet decipher. That evening, Emma finally returned to the farmhouse, her mind replaying every movement, every gesture. She didn't sleep well. The mare's restless energy seemed to follow her even in dreams. She kept imagining what had led a champion horse from the bright lights of the arena to the dusty pens of a cattle farm. The more she thought about it, the more she realized that this mare had been discarded, not for a lack of talent, but perhaps for a spirit too wild, too ungovernable for humans who valued trophies over connection. The next morning, Emma arrived before dawn, determined to make a breakthrough. The farm was quiet, the cattle still asleep, the air thick with frost. She found the mare standing near the far fence, ears flat back, tail twitching with tension. It was then that Emma noticed something she hadn't seen the day before, a faint scar along the mare's flank, partially hidden by her mane. It told a story of past struggles, perhaps injuries, maybe even neglect. Emma's chest tightened. "You've been through a lot," she murmured, voice barely audible. The mare snorted softly as if acknowledging the words. Emma's strategy that day was simple: observation, patience, and small gestures of trust. She moved slowly, offering her hand, lowering her body to appear less threatening. She spoke gently, recounting stories of the arena, of the applause the mare had once known, of the life she deserved. And slowly, inch by inch, the mare's posture softened. She nibbled at the feed Emma offered, eyes flicking to hers, and for a fleeting moment, the wall between them seemed to crack. It wasn't just about taming her, it was about understanding her. Emma realized that every twitch of the mare's ears, every flick of her tail, every cautious step was a language, a silent conversation about fear, courage, and resilience. And as she watched, she felt something stir within herself. A determination not only to help this horse survive but to help her thrive again, to restore the dignity that had been stripped away when she was sent to this place. By the third day, Emma had noticed a remarkable shift. The mare allowed her to brush her coat, a subtle sign of trust, yet still flinched at sudden movements or unfamiliar sounds. Emma's heart raced with hope and tension. One wrong move could send them back to square one. She spent hours walking the mare along the edge of the pasture, talking softly, imagining the life she had once led, and planting seeds of the bond she hoped to grow. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in streaks of gold and crimson, Emma stood near the fence, watching the mare graze peacefully for the first time in days. A sense of awe swept over her. This was a horse with spirit and history, resilience and grace, and somehow, against the odds, a connection was forming. Emma knew the next steps would be harder, tests of courage, patience, and intuition, but in that moment, hope burned brightly. Little did Emma know that hope was only the beginning. The mare's journey, and theirs together, was about to take an unexpected turn, one that would test every ounce of trust, every shred of courage, and reveal a side of this horse that no one had anticipated. A turn that would change both their lives forever. As the camera pans across the frost-covered pasture, lingering on the glint of the mare's chestnut coat in the fading sunlight, viewers are left with a sense of curiosity, a silent question echoing in their minds. What will happen next? If you're enjoying this story, make sure to hit like and subscribe, because the journey we're about to witness is one you won't want to miss. The following morning, a thick fog rolled over the pasture, muting the world into shades of gray. Emma arrived before sunrise, as she had every day since the mare's arrival, her breath steaming in the cold air. There was a weight in the silence, a sense that today might tip the delicate balance they had built. The mare stood near the far fence, her coat damp with dew, muscles taut and eyes scanning the surroundings. Something in her posture told Emma that trust, though growing, was fragile. Emma approached slowly, hands empty, voice calm, a rhythm she had developed over years of working with sensitive horses. "Morning," she whispered. The mare's ears flicked sideways, then back, a signal that she was alert but listening. Emma offered a small treat, a piece of apple she had sliced the night before, and waited. The mare sniffed, then snorted, refusing the gift at first. Emma stayed still, heart hammering. Patience, she reminded herself. Trust isn't rushed. It's earned, step by careful step. Hours passed, and the morning routine became a delicate dance. The mare followed Emma's movements with a mix of curiosity and caution, never letting her guard down completely. But as Emma guided her toward the cattle pens, the tension ratcheted higher. The farm's routine wasn't meant for a show horse. The cattle were unpredictable, stomping and lowing, their sheer bulk a constant reminder of the world this mare did not belong to. And yet, the mare moved with grace, a reluctant elegance that hinted at her championship past. Suddenly, a calf broke free from the herd, charging directly toward the mare. The mare reared, hooves striking the air, nostrils flaring. Emma froze for a split second, then acted instinctively, stepping between them and raising her voice just enough to alert the mare without startling her further. The mare's eyes met Emma's, a mix of panic and uncertainty. For a moment, it seemed she might bolt, but then, almost imperceptibly, she hesitated. Emma's pulse raced. She extended her hand, letting the mare see that she was there, not as an obstacle, but as an ally. Slowly, cautiously, the mare moved past the calf, ears swiveling, muscles coiled yet controlled. The moment passed, leaving both human and horse shaken but alive. Emma exhaled, feeling a surge of relief and awe. This was a mare who had faced crowds, pressure, and the demands of competition. But here, on this unpredictable farm, she was facing something equally challenging: chaos without structure, fear without a clear path. And she was navigating it, learning to trust Emma enough to let her guide her through danger. As the days went by, small victories accumulated. The mare began to follow Emma's voice, even when the cattle were restless. She allowed grooming without flinching, and for brief periods, even accepted gentle pats. Yet the farm itself seemed to resist her. Gates clanged unexpectedly, dogs barked in the distance, and sudden gusts of wind would make her spin in alarm. Each challenge tested the bond they had begun to forge, each minor setback a reminder that trust, once built, could be fragile. Then came the day that changed everything. A day Emma would never forget. She was leading the mare along a familiar path when the mare suddenly froze, muscles stiffening like steel. Her ears pinned back, eyes wide, nostrils flaring. Emma stopped, heart pounding. She followed the mare's gaze and froze herself. Across the field, partially hidden by tall grass, was a deep trench, freshly dug, the edges slippery and unstable. It wasn't large, but it was enough to trap a horse if she misstepped. Emma felt a surge of fear, but also awe at the mare's instincts. She had never seen such precise awareness. The mare refused to move, backing away slowly, ears swiveling, eyes fixed on the danger. Emma knelt down, speaking softly, words meant not to command but to calm. "It's okay. You see it. You're safe. We can go around." Slowly, inch by inch, the mare stepped to the side, following Emma's guidance, but never letting her guard down. It was a breakthrough moment, a shared understanding that transcended simple training. Emma realized that this mare wasn't just smart, she was intuitive, capable of sensing danger in ways humans often missed. And in that moment, the seed of a deeper bond took root, respect, empathy, and trust intertwined. Word of the mare's behavior began to spread among the farmhands. "That horse is something else," one muttered, shaking his head. "You don't see them acting like that every day." Emma smiled faintly, but she knew there was more than instinct at play. There was spirit, history, and an unspoken story that no one had yet uncovered. Later that afternoon, Emma discovered another clue. Hidden beneath the mare's mane were faint markings on her legs, almost like faded ribbons. They weren't injuries, they were remnants of a life she had once led, a time when her talent and beauty had been celebrated. Emma's chest tightened. This mare had been pushed aside, sent to a place that didn't understand her worth, yet she carried herself with dignity, even in the face of adversity. Emma spent the evening reflecting on the lessons she had learned so far. Trust could be fragile, yes, but it was also resilient. Courage could be taught, but empathy had to be felt. And most importantly, she realized that this mare was not broken. She was waiting for someone patient enough, compassionate enough, to see the greatness within her. Night fell, and the farm grew quiet. Emma lingered at the edge of the pasture, watching the mare settle into a cautious calm. The moonlight glinted off her chestnut coat, illuminating the subtle muscle shifts, the way her ears twitched at every sound. Emma felt a swell of emotion, hope, wonder, and an unshakable belief that something incredible was about to happen. And then, almost as if responding to the unspoken thought, the mare lifted her head and neighed, a clear, resonant sound that seemed to echo across the empty fields. It wasn't fear or frustration. It was a declaration, a signal that she was alive, aware, and ready. Emma shivered, a lump forming in her throat. The journey was far from over, but the first real signs of connection had emerged. Little did Emma know, the mare's extraordinary abilities weren't limited to awareness or intuition. Days later, she would reveal a side of herself so remarkable, so unexpected, that it would leave everyone on the farm, Emma included, speechless. Something was coming, something that would transform not just the mare's life, but Emma's own understanding of trust, courage, and the bond between horse and human. As viewers watch this scene unfold, the tension lingers. A horse out of place, a caretaker learning the ropes of empathy, and the faint glimmer of something miraculous just over the horizon. You can almost hear the narrator whisper, "Stay with us, because what's coming next is beyond anything you've imagined." If this story has captured your heart so far, don't forget to like and subscribe, so you won't miss the moment when everything changes. The morning air was crisp and carried the scent of damp earth when Emma arrived at the pasture. There was a tension in the atmosphere she couldn't ignore, a subtle vibration that something was about to happen. The mare was already awake, standing near the fence with her ears pinned forward and muscles taut like springs. Emma's heart skipped a beat. She had grown used to her calm moments, but today, something in the mare's gaze suggested anticipation, or perhaps a warning. As Emma approached, she noticed the herd of cattle was unusually restless. A low, rumbling snort escaped the mare's nostrils. She stamped her hooves, glancing repeatedly toward the far corner of the field. Emma squinted, trying to see what had caught the mare's attention. And then she saw it. One of the younger bulls had become trapped between two fence posts, thrashing wildly, panicked and dangerously close to the edge of a steep embankment. Emma's stomach lurched. The situation was precarious. The bull's movements could spook the mare, or worse, put them both in danger. Yet the mare, calm, precise, and remarkably intelligent, stood her ground, eyes fixed on the animal. Emma realized she wasn't just witnessing instinct, she was witnessing problem-solving, a depth of awareness that transcended what she had seen in other horses. Without hesitation, Emma stepped forward. "Careful, easy," she murmured, keeping her tone steady. The mare tilted her head slightly, as if understanding. And then, almost impossibly, the mare began moving toward the trapped bull. Each step was deliberate, measured, controlled. Emma's breath caught in her throat. She had seen horses react to fear, but never guide another creature through chaos with such precision. The bull lashed out, panic-stricken, but the mare maneuvered around him with graceful agility, nudging him gently with her muzzle towards solid ground. Emma could hardly believe her eyes. The barn hands had gathered at the edge of the field, mouths agape, unsure whether to intervene or trust the horse's instincts. And slowly, the trapped bull was free, guided not by humans, but by a horse whose intelligence and empathy seemed almost supernatural. Emma felt a swell of emotion so intense it nearly brought her to tears. Pride, wonder, awe, and a deepening connection with a creature that had already given her so much more than she expected. She knelt down near the mare, brushing a hand along her neck, whispering, "You're extraordinary. Do you know what you just did?" The mare nuzzled her gently, almost in response, and Emma could feel the trust crystallizing, hard and unbreakable, between them. But the moment of triumph was fleeting. As the adrenaline of the rescue subsided, Emma noticed a shadow flickering near the edge of the pasture, a black SUV, wheels crunching on gravel, headlights cutting through the morning mist. Her chest tightened. She didn't recognize the vehicle, but instinct screamed that it didn't belong there. And before she could react, a man stepped out, tall and imposing, eyes fixed on the mare. "Is this your horse?" he asked, voice clipped but not unkind. Emma hesitated. She's in my care." "She was sent here," Emma said cautiously, scanning his expression for signs of intent. The man's gaze didn't waver from the mare. "I'm from the previous owner. I need to check her papers and condition. She's valuable." Emma's heart raced. She had grown attached to the mare over these past days, and the thought of losing her, or having her taken away, felt like a punch to the chest. The mare sensed the tension, stamping her hooves, ears swiveling in alarm. Emma instinctively stepped in front of her, a protective stance, and spoke calmly but firmly. "She's safe. She's not leaving until I know she's okay." The man frowned, clearly unaccustomed to this level of resistance. He tried to approach, but the mare's eyes locked onto him, nostrils flaring, muscles coiled. Emma had never seen such determination before, not just fear, but a protective awareness, a bond formed so quickly that it seemed almost impossible. The mare pawed the ground and neighed, a sound that echoed across the field, warning the intruder, "Stay back." Emma's mind raced. This wasn't just about ownership anymore, it was about trust, safety, and respect. And in that moment, she realized something profound. The mare wasn't just remarkable for her intelligence or strength. She had a sense of loyalty, a bond that transcended the simple dynamics of human command. She trusted Emma, and she would act to protect that trust. After tense minutes that felt like hours, the man backed off, muttering something about paperwork and leaving as quickly as he had arrived. Emma exhaled, feeling her chest loosen for the first time. The mare's body relaxed slightly, and Emma knelt down to stroke her neck, whispering reassurances. "It's okay. You're safe now." The mare nuzzled her shoulder, a subtle but unmistakable gesture of connection. The incident lingered in Emma's mind all day. She realized that this mare was unlike any she had worked with before. She wasn't just intelligent or spirited, she was protective, aware, empathetic, and courageous. Emma felt a mixture of awe and humility. Here she was, a human with years of experience, learning from an animal that had been discarded, overlooked, and underestimated. And yet the mare's actions spoke louder than any trophies or accolades ever could. As night fell, Emma reflected on the journey so far. The mare had come to the farm a stranger, wary and mistrustful, yet she had shown courage, problem-solving, and loyalty beyond what Emma had expected. The bond they shared was deepening, built on small victories, mutual respect, and moments of intense challenge. And yet, Emma sensed that this was only the beginning. Something bigger, something extraordinary, was waiting just over the horizon. A moment that would test every ounce of trust, courage, and understanding they had cultivated. Emma settled near the mare's stall, brushing her coat under the dim light, thinking of the journey ahead. She knew obstacles were coming, challenges she could not yet foresee, and tests of patience and skill that would push both of them to the limits. But she also knew that this mare, remarkable in every sense, was ready. And Emma felt ready too, ready to witness, to guide, and to be changed by the incredible journey that lay ahead. The camera lingers on the mare as she settles into her stall, chestnut coat glistening, eyes soft but alert, a creature of instinct, intelligence, and grace. A subtle tension remains, a hint that something incredible is about to happen. And as viewers watch, they can't help but lean in, hearts racing, knowing that the next chapter will reveal the true depth of the mare's power, trust, and courage. If this story has moved you so far, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. You'll want to be here when everything changes. The morning air was electric with anticipation. Emma woke before dawn, the chill of the early hours biting at her skin, but her mind was already on the mare. Something had shifted overnight. She could feel it, an almost tangible energy in the quiet farm, the kind of tension that signals a turning point. When she approached the pasture, the mare was already alert, standing near the fence, muscles coiled, eyes sharp, nostrils flaring. Today wasn't just another day of observation or cautious trust-building. Today would test everything Emma had taught, every ounce of patience she had invested, and the depth of the bond that had been slowly forming between them. She called softly, "Good morning," stepping into the frost-covered field. The mare turned her head, ears swiveling forward, acknowledging her presence but remaining cautious. Emma had noticed a pattern over the last few days. The mare wasn't just reacting to danger, she was anticipating it. She had a remarkable intuition about her surroundings, about the unpredictable nature of the farm and its animals. Emma had a growing sense that the mare was waiting for an opportunity to show something extraordinary, something that would leave no doubt about her spirit and intelligence. And then it happened. A sudden commotion erupted near the far corner of the pasture. A young foal had wandered too close to a gully, a steep slope hidden by tall grasses. The foal slipped, sliding dangerously toward the edge, its tiny hooves scrambling for purchase. Emma's heart lurched and she ran toward it, but she wasn't fast enough. The mare's ears flicked back, eyes narrowing, and before Emma could react, the mare bolted, not away, but toward the foal, moving with breathtaking speed and precision. Emma could hardly breathe, watching as the mare positioned herself between the foal and the gully. She nudged the foal gently with her muzzle, guiding it towards solid ground. But the slope was treacherous, loose soil threatening to give way. The mare's hooves struck the earth with perfect timing, her body twisting, coiling, and leveraging her weight to stabilize the foal. Emma's jaw dropped. This was more than instinct. It was calculation, empathy, and courage all at once. The foal scrambled to safety, guided entirely by the mare. Emma collapsed onto the ground, chest heaving, overwhelmed by awe. She reached out to the mare, stroking her neck and whispering, "You saved its life. You're incredible." The mare nuzzled her gently, almost as if understanding the enormity of what she had done. The farmhands who had gathered were speechless, murmuring among themselves. "I've never seen a horse do that," one said. "It's like she knew exactly what to do." Emma could only nod, tears pricking her eyes. She realized in that moment that this mare's spirit had never been meant to be confined to arenas or show rings. She was born to act, to protect, to inspire, and to teach humans the meaning of trust and courage. But the moment was bittersweet. Emma thought of the black SUV from days before, the man who had come to claim the mare, and the possibility that her newfound bond might be threatened. She knelt beside the mare, whispering softly, "Whatever happens, I promise I'll protect you." The mare leaned into her, a silent vow passing between them, stronger than words. The rescue of the foal became the turning point that changed the way everyone on the farm saw the mare. She was no longer just a prize-winning horse sent to a cattle farm out of convenience or neglect. She was a guardian, a partner, a creature of remarkable intelligence and empathy. Emma noticed the subtle ways in which the mare now anticipated human intentions as well, waiting for her guidance, reading her emotions, responding with a level of understanding that left Emma both humbled and inspired. In the days that followed, Emma and the mare worked together to build even more trust. They practiced exercises to navigate the farm safely, reinforcing the bond that had already proven life-saving. Emma reflected on her own journey, how working with this mare had taught her patience, empathy, and resilience. She remembered the grief of losing her father, the challenges of feeling responsible beyond her years, and how the mare's unwavering trust had mirrored the kind of support she had longed for herself. And then came another surprise. One afternoon, as Emma led the mare back toward the stable, they noticed a small gathering of animals behaving unusually. A stray calf had become entangled in the fence wire, struggling and panicked. Before Emma could intervene, the mare approached with the same careful deliberation she had shown with the foal. She used her muzzle to nudge the calf's movements, guiding it away from danger, while Emma assisted in freeing it. It was like watching a living, breathing choreography, a dance of instinct, intelligence, and cooperation. Emma couldn't help but laugh through tears, her heart full. "You're extraordinary," she whispered again, stroking the mare's glossy chestnut coat. The mare nuzzled her in return, a subtle, almost human gesture of acknowledgement. It was a moment of pure connection, the kind that only happens when trust is absolute and mutual respect is unshakable. That evening, Emma sat on the fence, watching the mare graze peacefully, the sun setting in streaks of gold and crimson across the horizon. She reflected on the journey they had shared, from the mare's wary first steps in the pasture, to the slow-building trust, to the breathtaking acts of courage and intelligence she had witnessed. Emma realized that this horse had changed not only the lives of the animals around her, but her own life as well. In that quiet, cinematic moment, the mare lifted her head, ears forward, eyes alert yet calm, chest heaving in the soft twilight. Emma reached out, and the mare lowered her head to touch Emma's hand. It was a gesture of acknowledgement, of partnership, and of an unspoken promise. Together, they had overcome fear, uncertainty, and misunderstanding. Together, they had become a force of empathy, courage, and hope. And as viewers watch this unfold, the suspense lingers. What challenges will come next? What further tests will prove the mare's courage, intelligence, and heart? One thing is clear. This is more than a story about a horse. It's a story about connection, trust, and the extraordinary power of empathy between human and animal. If you felt inspired so far, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because the story isn't over yet, and the finale is something you truly won't want to miss. The morning sun spilled golden light across the pasture, illuminating the chestnut mare as she moved with her usual grace and strength. Emma watched from the fence, heart swelling with pride and awe. Over the past week, they had faced challenges, fear, and uncertainty together, and now there was a sense of calm, a harmony that spoke volumes about the bond they had forged. Yet beneath the surface, Emma felt the quiet tension that always preceded something extraordinary. It began with a distant commotion at the edge of the field, a sound that immediately drew the mare's attention. Her ears pricked, muscles tensed, and she moved with deliberate precision toward the noise. Emma followed, sensing the urgency but unsure of what she would find. There, in the far corner of the pasture, was a calf caught in a fast-moving water channel, struggling desperately as the current threatened to sweep it away. The stakes were high, and time was critical. Emma's heart pounded. She knew the calf wouldn't survive long without help, and the area was too dangerous for her to reach quickly. But the mare didn't hesitate. With a fluid, controlled burst of speed, She sprinted toward the calf. Every step was calculated, a perfect balance of power and precision. Emma ran alongside, shouting encouragement, but she knew she couldn't physically intervene in time. The mare reached the calf just as it began to slip under the current. Using her strength, she leaned against the edge, bracing herself and nudging the calf with her muzzle. Inch by inch, with remarkable foresight and coordination, the mare guided the calf toward shallower water. Emma could hardly believe her eyes. This was more than courage. This was instinct, intelligence, and empathy working in perfect harmony. When the calf finally scrambled to solid ground, safe and unharmed, the mare backed away and shook her mane, glancing toward Emma with eyes that seemed to say, "I did it. We did it." Emma ran forward, tears streaming down her face, and wrapped her arms around the mare's neck. "You saved its life," she whispered. "You're incredible. Absolutely incredible." The mare nuzzled her gently, a quiet acknowledgement of trust and shared triumph. Word of the mare's heroic acts spread across the farm and beyond. The black SUV from earlier returned, but this time, the previous owner witnessed something they could not ignore, a horse that was more than a prize on a ribbon, more than a competitor in the arena. She was a guardian, a problem solver, a partner capable of acts that no human could orchestrate alone. Emma knew that attempts to reclaim her would be met with a subtle but unyielding resistance from the mare herself. She was loyal, but loyalty had been earned, not demanded. That evening, Emma stood at the edge of the pasture, watching the mare graze peacefully as the sun dipped below the horizon. She reflected on their journey, the mistrust, the fear, the gradual steps toward understanding and connection. Every small victory, each moment of patience, each act of empathy, had culminated in this ultimate display of courage and intelligence. And Emma realized something profound. This was more than a story about a horse. It was a story about resilience, about the extraordinary results of trust, compassion, and belief in one another. She thought back to her father, to the lessons she had learned about responsibility, love, and perseverance. She realized that the mare had taught her something she hadn't anticipated, that courage isn't just about physical action, but about empathy, patience, and the willingness to trust in another being. The mare had been discarded by the world, yet she had proven that spirit, intelligence, and heart could overcome even the greatest odds. As dusk settled, Emma led the mare back to the barn. She brushed her coat, speaking softly about the day's events, about the lives they had touched, and about the bond they now shared. The mare's eyes reflected the fading light, intelligent and calm, yet alive with energy and spirit. There was a quiet understanding between them, a promise of partnership, respect, and shared courage that no obstacle could break. The camera pans across the pasture one last time, capturing the mare standing tall against the backdrop of fading sunlight, ears forward, muscles relaxed yet ready. Emma's voice is heard softly narrating, "Sometimes, the greatest victories aren't in trophies or applause, they're in trust, in courage, and in the bonds we form with those who show us what it means to be truly extraordinary." The story closes with a sense of wonder and awe, leaving viewers inspired and moved. The mare's journey from mistrust to heroic action, and Emma's journey from caretaker to partner, demonstrate the transformative power of empathy, patience, and connection. It's a testament to the extraordinary intelligence and heart of horses, and the lives they touch when given the chance. As the final scene fades, viewers are left with a subtle encouragement. The next time you encounter a challenge, or a being in need of trust, patience, and empathy, remember this mare. And remember the lesson Emma learned. True courage and greatness are often found in unexpected places. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You'll want to join us for more incredible journeys like this one.